Kelly,
Yes.
I ran into Miss Jennifer.
Okay.
It's one of their ladies, there are some books that she has some ideas of, and tonight I have some pictures of, I went down there to Oxford's Memorial Park on a weekday. Obviously, and I took some pictures of this park. It's actually a pretty cool thing they got going on there. Is it for us? I don't know, but I know a lot more about it now than I did then.
Okay.
You know, I kind of.
Oh, you probably did. Resale shops open for one. They have that open one Friday month. And then it's open on Mondays. Yeah, that's open one Friday month.
That's
And
more.
then it's open on Mondays.
I
Yeah.
do think, it would be nice to have
So with that, yeah. So, like, if you donate, if you have something that you doesn't have more. So like, yeah.
You saw
That's not the one to donate. Anybody can donate.
No, they look like they're drawn in.
Okay, for example, when
They're bridges.
East
And
Side.
they-
Somebody had that idea.
And they extend
we
it to all
donate
their
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it extends that park.
And you will bring it probably here down.
It's probably what, takes 3 of those things.
That's what that is.
With three sheep.
So you walk in, let's find out.
No, I haven't yet. We have, they have that thing so blocked off.
Okay.
I mean, it's money when you get off the path. And they didn't take our suggestions to put in the ballot. They just left the face on it.
We'll see. We'll start. Can't give up, I guess, huh? If you raise a great bird, you can't walk. You can't stay out of the, you need to be able to stay out of the.
And we have real shoulder.
I'm back to school, so we put them down.
Just give me a little bit of time.
Did the measurements and everything.
This is
So
work.
Susan, I brought home case, went there. Here's one now, and it was a case, they had one she wanted. So we got 2 down that day. So, you know, we just.
But if you can see where
Some
we were
days
sitting here,
some days this, that, some days you wouldn't have yours and none of that, you know.
yes, it'd be
But
nice.
they don't know that one
I
so go towards the insurance.
Originally, the ballots were down
Women,
Well,
and they were short women.
Yeah.
post with the ballot.
Well, now it's a big sign, and now
I read that.
they have it all.
Clean it out.
Yeah, I think it's broken.
And change new one.
But
They need to change.
there's no change about it.
We're gonna find
So
out.
the morning
Where
have
you
called
can actually stand.
Wife has a little mates.
I told my idea.
He changed a lot, tell
You have the same thing,
stuff.
but
But they're
you
cleaning.
have
it
to
up.
line it up so somebody could go.
So.
That's
you
what,
donate some
that's
stuff
what
in
anyone
there,
can get
some
out
stuff
of.
goes
So
away.
all I sent to you guys was just
Some
2
stuff
posts.
grandkids are
That are
at.
like 3
So
football, that are
now they're
movable.
working on
So
that.
that you need to back
Go
it
down
down there or whatever you have to
Some
do.
stuff go
service.
down there.
You can.
Shane's taking stuff off.
And they're inexpensive.
So it's all.
Well, in all reality, when I have this spoken to EMS and even the police.
Some stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
get rid of them.
Without every.
Some stuff they don't take because they can't get rid of. Some stuff Shane
Like I
likes to
said,
rid
the
of.
clients, it's essential, so that if they needed to respond to the call, they know that it's a new one.
I think somebody
If
like
they
that.
need to respond.
Someone like that.
So
Get rid of.
I mean, it's just you need to hit your priorities when you're sitting here, and you do, you may have to push another meeting, so. But it is a priority, I wish it could be like that.
Do you have
It
pictures?
is, it is, it is.
Your idea? Well, just send it to me.
What's that?
A picture of his idea, he's explained it to me several times, but
Oh,
I'm kind of.
it's in an email.
Just send it to me, so.
I'll resend it.
Ready?
Yeah, sure. Steven's not here, so.
Sorry.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank everybody for coming. And I would like to ask for approval of last month's minutes.
So you just gotta make a motion, and if you all think
I would like to make a
minutes.
motion that we approve last month's minutes.
I second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
The only question I had is like, if we had a motion to amend and approve the prior ones, shouldn't the amendment be there, or did we actually change the
So-
minutes? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Where's that?
Actually,
So, under approval of minutes B on last month's minutes, underneath the motion, it says motion was made to amend and approve the meeting minutes from 2/15/2024.
Right,
So you're double accepting it, and now it's good to go. It's amended.
that's what I said, so was the actual draft minutes amended to be?
Yes, yep, yep.
Okay, that's what I.
Yes, yeah.
and these minutes actually have the same issue.
Are they two?
Great party.
It's something with our system. All right.
We're ready.
Kevin, would you mind making a motion to amend these minutes, and we'll figure out what's wrong with our system?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes for last month.
I second.
Part
All
B.
those in favor? Aye.
Okay.
So. Open the floor for action items. Does anyone that stands, would anyone that stands, like to speak?
You know, I can barely hear you.
Would anyone out there like to speak?
Yeah, I would, but I thought it would be at the end.
You can speak anytime. We're going to do it now. You can speak again later.
Okay, this isn't open, I mean, about anything?
This is,
Well, we're really Parks and Rec, so I hope it's about Parks and Rec.
Yeah, okay, I was reading about bids or something, and I thought maybe I misunderstood. Yeah, I have two comments. One, I was told that on the computer, there was something about notifying neighbors of what's going on in Umble Park. And then also, I assume, maybe I shouldn't, that you're aware that the children from the borough have a hard time walking a mile around town to get into the park. Consequently, they try to cut through everybody's yards, and I think mine's the only one that they're allowed to cut through. Everybody else is throwing them out. Therefore, I got to thinking, now that you're making improvements, which I find fabulous, I don't know all of them, but I would love, is there anything in print? I'm not computer savvy, I don't like to go on the computer. Do you ever print anything out that one can receive so I know what's going on? Since I do border the park, and I'll get to my point in a minute, but I also want to mention that why would they take the fence down? Anybody know?
you were, I was asking you.
We don't have her name.
Yeah, I'm
And you
sorry.
have to add that
Okay, I think we could.
What's your name?
Pardon me?
What's your name?
Catherine. Maurizio.
Thank you. I was at the meeting, the Board of Supervisors meeting, when you raised the same issue. And we talked about it a lot that day. So, I don't really know if we have anything more to add.
But nobody knows why they took it down.
So there was a hole in the fence.
Good point. Does that represent taking down the entire 3 miles of fence? No. That hole was there for a good reason, because the kids that all cut through weren't able to climb that 6-foot fence. Therefore, they were able to go through that little tiny hole, which was there for a long time, and it was a good thing. It kept them from breaking their necks climbing it. I mean, that was no reason to take the
The
fence
fence
down.
came down.
I can speak to that
Okay,
actually.
thank
So
you.
the two main reasons that we took down the fence were, one, the hole in the fence, sections of the fence, not just that singular hole, were falling into disrepair. And the second,
I have pictures of that fence. It was
yeah,
fine.
just sections of it, I'm not saying the entire thing. And the second thing is strictly pretty much I want to use the right wording. It was easier for our public works crew to take that fence down than to spend 4 additional hours having to weed whack along that fence every 2 weeks.
Thank you for answering.
Yeah, and that is part of the reason why we took it down, was to maximize the time of our public works
$1
crew.
million fence for 25-hour cutting, yeah. Not my book, doesn't work. But anyway, that's my book.
Well, it does kind of provide probably a safer access to all of those that are going through yards.
It's safer not to have a fence. You
Yes.
really think that?
Well, here's the deal.
I don't want to argue it. It's
Right,
down.
because of
It doesn't bother me that it's down. I just think it was a ridiculous, stupid idea. And that's my privilege to think that way.
Absolutely, but it is good to hear that it doesn't bother you that it's down. Because, I feel better.
Okay, here's my reason for coming here tonight is I've been trying to think how to get these kids down here without, I don't mind a few kids coming, they have to cross my front door. And that's been okay. However, when you're making all these beautiful improvements, I'm gonna have 100 kids walking. And I may object to that, because it is my front door that, they're 10 feet from my front door when they cross my lot.
Just keep us abreast of some future changes
Well, I have
in
a
the traffic.
solution. Now, my neighbor doesn't agree with my thoughts, and she hates kids. She's already thrown kids off her, we share a driveway. So now it's her and me having conflict over this. I know, I let them
I wish
live.
there wasn't. I wish there wasn't.
I know, but I come up with a solution. The farmer Solstice, the one that has the bakery, he owns that entire farm. He owns further than he knows. He orders me. Now, if he lets them come down his fence line, and then they can cut through my section, and they can get right into the park.
Have you ever spoken to him?
I have.
And
Some people aren't willing to talk things, over the fence,
can I help?
It hasn't really come to him making a decision or not.
Can I help talking to him? And you and him talk about it?
Well, before I even suggest it to him, I should know the legalities of allowing people, and there will be a lot of kids, once that skateboard thing goes in.
I think I would cross that bridge once we got to it, but, a lot of kids up here, it's kind of a relative statement, but, we'll see. I don't see a lot of kids, a lot more kids coming to this park, and there's been
Well,
no,
it's private
there's been no-
property, you have every right not to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
them
you
walk
can
through
just
your
tell them no.
property.
Would you guys
I think it's
Yes.
exciting.
Yes.
I think it's gonna love it.
That'd be great to have walkways
Right.
access to the park.
right, and I offered to, sit down with both you and the farmer, and
Yeah, it's, a little bit of his, a little bit of my property, and they would be in the park. And there's nothing there that they can hurt or that will hurt them. The cows are on the other side of the fence. They've already cut through the cow section, and he doesn't like that. They're not really cows, I think they're bulls, maybe. I don't know what they are.
are you gonna stay for the meeting?
I don't know, it's gonna be
Well,
interesting.
I doubt it, probably not, Joe. Well, can I get your information before you leave?
Sure.
Okay?
Okay, I'll sit in.
All right, you can put it on here now. There you go. Just give me your contact information, and I'll reach out to you. Obviously, you're a concerned citizen, you've been here 2 or 3 times now, so
Two. I think it's my second.
it seems like that.
That's a joke.
That was a joke.
Oh.
You're in a lot better mood than you were last time.
I wasn't in a bad mood.
No, it was rough. It was a rough day.
You know what, I'm a very excitable person, like the guy that didn't like cutting the grass, he's the one I yelled at for cutting my trees down. That's why he's mad.
Let's stay on point here.
I like the guy, matter of fact. I've
He's a
known
good
him
guy.
for 40
Yeah,
years.
he's a good guy,
He is.
and I will reach out to you.
He just doesn't understand my loud personality.
And maybe we could, you can show me exactly what you're talking about, and we can get together with the other neighbor, right?
Oh, that would be great. What? I'm also a little hard of hearing. I'm getting very old.
Miranda, I forgot the, program.
That's okay. That's all right.
What's this thing about you're supposed to talk to neighbors about what you're doing? That was in the computer.
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure. It may be when construction for the skate park starts, we might send out a notification to the neighbors then, because that's technically a land development thing. But that would be once, the
Okay,
actual
well, how about
construction.
putting what you're doing on paper so that everybody can, a
What
lot
do you mean,
of
what
them
we're
still
doing?
don't go on the computer.
The plans for the changes that.
And how about a township, paper like the borough puts out?
We
You
do,
used
we
to have
do
one.
put one out every few months. It's,
You don't anymore.
I know, we put one out in the winter, and it's quite a lot of work to get it out, and everything else going
You
on.
mean the
That's
borough
fine.
can do more than you can do? Oh, come on. Okay, thank you. I'll listen.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Anyone else have anything to say? So, we will now move to the trail discussions.
You want a recommendation from us on what their next step is? Do we recommend that they follow through with the easement of Sunoco and just kind of still sit back and just wait, but at least we have that now?
Yeah, I think the two next steps are pursue the easement, try to piggyback off of what West Brandywine did there. And then the other thing is figure out where West Brandywine stands on their part so that we can better gauge what we should be doing to that too.
To just stay in the loop with them.
Right.
Here's what I know about the ICL trail. I've got a contact for the township manager of West Brandywine, and I've sent a couple emails and have heard nothing back. And so I reached out to another person who can act as a middleman. And our question is, who is their contact with Sunoco?
So that is actually one of the things we wanted to figure out. So we have made basic contact with Sunoco about this easement. It's really just figuring out if you guys want to take the lead on getting a hold of that easement, or if you want the administrative staff to do so. So that would require like going to talk to the owner of the Sunoco and have that discussion about, I mean, obviously they know what the Icedale Trail is because they were a part of the study, but just what they would be, what their terms would be for this easement.
So you have the contact for Sunoco?
No, so that is where we're kind of at an impasse.
Yeah.
We've made basic contact with Sunoco about it, but no true details have been reached about this easement. And so either one of you guys, if one of you wanted the task to make that contact and explain to them and kind of figure out what their terms are, or if you wanted the administrative staff to make that contact and start that ball and start rolling.
I mean, I can look into it.
Okay,
I know that, I think the way that West Brandywine got onto the person that Sunoco was through Brandywine Conservancy.
Okay.
I think it's someone who used to work at the Conservancy who's now working at Sunoco Logistics.
Okay, cool.
So I'll try to follow up on that.
Find out who
At
it
least get
is
a
and how
contact.
to, yeah.
Is that building, is that Sunoco Logistics, that brick building, 322?
Yes, that's the way.
Across from Boston.
So I will forward,
Yeah.
I will forward you my information and what I know.
Oh, okay.
They have a Park and Rec meeting next week, worst comes to worst, we can show up there again.
Okay.
And, but only this time with a question.
Okay,
I
that's
say I
it.
might just sat through it, but
If they still are giving you kind of the cold shoulder West Brandywine, let me know, and I'll attempt to make municipal to municipal contact, and hopefully they'll listen. Can't guarantee it, but, you
Yeah,
know.
if they've already gotten their easement, it should be easy peasy.
we just can't get this contact name for some reason, and I can't get them to return an email, but we're trying to avoid the administration on this.
That is.
I mean, if we have to.
That is,
You know us already.
If you guys would like to take the brunt of the work, go
I
for
mean,
it.
I mean, you know, you guys,
At least give us a chance, and
Yeah,
then, like you
absolutely.
said, municipal to municipal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure you guys have a full schedule.
Kevin, you don't happen to know anything, do you?
No, I remember what you were just saying, Ray,
That's
that there was some connections through the Conservancy. It was probably a year ago, when I was still on Parks and Rec, that I reached out to the people we were talking to on Parks and Rec, and they had all turned over.
Right.
Nobody was there anymore. I think the supervisors that we were working with had turned over as well. And I didn't get any responses to emails and phone calls that I was pushing on as well. So I like the path about going through the Conservancy and seeing if you can get somebody to know who they were talking to and how it worked. Because when you and I were still talking about it, and we were walking the trail, they made some decent headway with Sunoco and already had come to agreement and working on additional easements as well. So
And
That was one of the last
they
things.
have their easement.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
have theirs.
yeah, that was one of the last things I was working on was trying to find out where they were at, if they were still proceeding, so we could decide if we wanted to still pursue from our end, and got nowhere.
Okay. I'll give it a shot.
All right, the other trail discussion I wanted to have is, Penn, Forrest, anything, I think my question there was, is there a role up there for us?
So I think that's partially for us to decide. I know where we left it with Rick last month. They're going to come up with a trail plan. And they're going to use me as a contact point once they have an initial plan together. They're going to get me involved. I'm going to work with the mountain bike team as well as this committee to review that plan, see if we want to make any adjustments or have any recommendations. And then we need to figure out if we want to, I know that Sal was talking with Rick at the end of the meeting about disc golf there, if that was an option. We discussed, maybe like a learning trail type of thing, picnic area, there are a few different things we could do. But we need to figure out what makes sense from a township standpoint.
Well, it sounds like we have made headway because you're going to be the contact. They know that you're going to be the contact,
Right.
right? And you represent the mountain bike team also.
Yes.
Anyone else?
These trails off the Route 10 entrance, are they going to be beautiful for that? Says that they weren't going to have parking on the old road.
There will
I
be.
mean, not necessarily the biking, because I mean, you guys can
Yeah.
get off the
So
regular.
there will be 2 parking lots.
Okay, there will be.
There's a small lot on Route 10 that
Mhm.
will remain there. And you can't go straight through, they have it fenced off.
Right,
because
right,
of
right.
the
Yeah.
trees in there they're trying to grow. But you can walk around that and get to the trails from there.
Okay.
And then on Hill Road, there's a larger parking lot.
Okay, so they have 2 entrances now that are closing one.
The one on Hill Road is currently closed because they will be open.
Okay.
It's closed right now
Because all the big
because,
equipment and that.
well, the equipment's all out, everything's ready to go. But there are several campground roads in there and roads that ATVs and stuff are using that a car, a truck, 4-wheel drive vehicle could drive down. So they need to come up with a way to open access to the parking lot without giving people access to just drive wild through the whole park.
I see.
So they have to put up other gates or some
Maybe
big
they can order
boulders.
an extra one for us.
Yeah. So that's the only reason that parking lot's currently closed. That will be open as soon as they figure out how to close off the rest of the park.
Gotcha, okay, so there will be those two, and the one on Hill will access those, at least the 6 miles of trails that they were talking
Yeah,
about.
they'll both access, both, the
Okay.
trails will tie into both parking lots.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. All right, I say we keep both those items on the agenda every week. See if we can grow this thing a little bit.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to wait until we get the trails sorted out, kind of get a feel for where the trails will be, and then see how we could enhance that with other features, other amenities. I know that Rick didn't shoot down the idea of disc golf in there. I don't think it's quite what they envisioned for a state forest, it's more of a state park thing. So it's kind of on the fringe of what they would allow. But
That's
there's-
some nice, beautiful pollinator garden and stuff around the water. It's different wetlands and stuff.
Right.
Nice trails.
And you know, a couple of signs, you know, to describe what the spring house is or the property, you know, who used to own the property,
Yeah.
a little history of it. And I also don't know, I haven't discussed with Rick about any different pools of money involved here. I know that he has some funds right now he plans to use to do some major, like water management things. And he wants to get this, the initial trail plan finalized by the end of the summer, because there's another opportunity to get more funds to actually build the trails in the fall. So he wants to hit that deadline to put his proposal in to get funding for the trails. I don't know if we, you know, if they're DCNR, if we were to do something, we probably want to go to DCNR for a grant. So I don't know if that would just take money from him,
I
or
see.
if it'd be out of a different bucket, you know, different bucket that would allow us to actually get more resources going into that park by us doing it separately.
Anyone else on trails? Trails and more trails. So let's move on to the park discussions. And Miranda, I think do you have anything about the resurfacing project, or
It's pretty much all there, it's been submitted.
what it says is that, yep, go ahead.
Yep, it's submitted, it's complete, and we should hear back by early fall on whether or not we got the grant. And that's pretty much all we have
And this is the grant.
for resurfacing the
Right.
basketball and then the tennis/pickleball courts.
And from what I understand, the costs have went up significantly from the last quote. I think the last quote was 2019. And I think the costs have went up over 20%. But I still think there's a considerable savings if we get the grant in the township, and what the township's gonna have to put out for it. So I don't have exact numbers. I think we should probably maybe wait until
Yeah,
we
exact
find out
numbers are,
we have the grant.
yep, that's when the exact numbers will come in. Yeah.
Okay, the grant has been submitted to the department. Now for the disc golf course. Maybe it's a good question, right?
So did you present it last month?
I did not. So when I talked to Tracy after the meeting, I said, what do you guys want to see for a presentation? And she said something about, well, I thought you guys were going to do a fundraising. So when I went to go talk to the township about how we do fundraising, they don't have a fundraising policy yet. So I guess that's already on here.
Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I didn't know, like, what do we have to present to them? Because they were all basically here at the meeting, so what are we presenting as far as, do we have to present like, how we want to fund it? Do we have to present what we want? What are we trying to ask?
Yeah, I think we should have a discussion on what direction we want to go with the disc golf. One thing I learned from Scott,
Or Steve?
Steve,
Mhm.
is that it's a bit of a long shot. It's not a bad idea, but it's kind of a tight area down in there, and yeah, it would be cool, but, you know, it's kind of untraditional as far as the dimensions, the length of the holes, and things, all things that you and I knew when we first started looking at this property, at this layout. And then we added in for me, I started adding in the picnic area intertwined in the disc golf and the kids' playground up in the corner. That sounds like it's not going anywhere anytime soon, which is fine. And the Pollinator Garden, which is going to somehow be integrated into that area, which I think is a great idea. I mean, if there's enough sunshine in that area, I think it's a great idea. And then the conversation I heard Ray talking about, and maybe he was talking to me, but about flying that idea of a disc golf course on the state forest. It's a long shot, you know, and he wasn't completely unopposed to it.
What do you have the other part coming up? I see, I kind of was excited even if it was a small junior-sized disc golf. It makes great use of unusable
Areas.
parking area.
And the cost-
We're talking about also your bike trails isn't pro, it's gonna be more junior type mountain biking.
Right.
And it just kind of excites me that if we can get younger people involved in stuff like that, they grow from there, you know, they don't.
Yeah, I like the idea. And I think Steve made a really good point of like, it's like going to, instead of going to like Honeycroft Golf Course, going to like a chip and putt, where you just take something small and it's, you know, everything's park ready. So it gives you the opportunity to learn, and you don't have to be an expert to go out there. Like some of the stuff that he was talking about, you know, being 800, 900 foot holes. I mean, kids that are, you know, in their early teens, 10, 11, they'll be bored of that in about 10 minutes because they can't get there.
Right.
So this would be perfect for them. It's, you know, it's like taking your kid to the mini golf. You know, you're not asking them to drive or hit it from the fairway, or you just putt. It's all putting.
Like I said, I was really excited about that aspect because that's who we're trying to get
In the park.
in the park and more recreational, that type of stuff. And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I can tell you guys what the board needs to see. So because this is a this year plan, and it wasn't approved in the budget for this year,
Okay.
they need to see a full formal proposal
And cost.
and cost. So they need a full breakdown of the cost, a full breakdown of what the course would look like. Alternatives, if for some reason this doesn't work out, but they really like the idea of something in that area, if you wanted to provide an alternative, absolutely, you can include that.
What?
Yeah, it just,
Like a,
describes it really well with this golf course.
If
So
ever
it's
our
out.
own rules.
I don't want to speak for the board, there's a lot of the board, but I can tell you that, I heard you guys talking about it, but I have yet seen the layout, the cost, or any specifics of it. So that's just my personal opinion, that I understand what you guys are talking about, and I'm not discounting it or saying yes or no.
But
I'm
you
just
need
telling
to
you,
see.
I don't know, I have no idea how much we're talking about, and I would like to see a layout of it. To your point, Kevin, about the closeness of the playground and stuff like that, so I can't
Without seeing the layout.
I can't applaud it or say, you know, it's not a good, because I haven't seen it. So, in my opinion, I would at least maybe float something out there to warn as to us or to us, just saying, here's a preliminary what we're looking at, here's a preliminary cost we can think about it. But like I said, I think it's a good idea, and I think you guys are on the right track. But I don't know any details there.
Right, that's what we need.
Exactly what Sal just said is what Warren has kind of been telling me, is that we just need to see that formal proposal. And I can tell you that with a bit of an understanding about the budget and this year and stuff like that,
It could be
if
better
you guys
for
have
next year.
2 proposals, one, say it's that guy's $13,000, that's just the guesstimate. Proposal, and the second one is a $3,000 to $4,000, you buy the baskets, you buy that stuff, you decide to do the DIY concrete pouring and hole digging yourselves. 2 proposals might help them kind of understand how much they can grant, if they can grant anything, and from there, that's when the fundraising will happen.
Okay.
Once we figure out what the board is willing to give, then we can discuss the actual fundraising portion. It's just we can't fundraise until there's approval.
So propose it, approve it, fundraise it.
Yes, if necessary.
That's the order of
Yes.
what we're looking at.
So I did go through, a couple meetings ago, I handed out like a initial like cost estimate, but as far as what cost estimates go, what are we looking at, like, would we be looking at buying and purchasing all the wood and stuff like that? Is that something the township already has, or?
So,
We have to add that in.
yeah.
No, I have it all, I just don't know, like, do I have to add labor in there? Like, do you have a number for labor? Like, that's the
No,
kind of
Steve
information
will-
I don't know.
Steve will first give you his proposal, right?
Well, Steve's proposal, like, so
And
Steve's
then layout and
proposal
all that?
is 12,500. 2,500 of it is like his design and his helping put stuff together, but everything else is the baskets, the turf pads, like all of that is cost for that kind of stuff. So you're looking at $10,000 for materials and stuff, and he doesn't have any labor in there. That's all we're supposed to do that.
Yeah, so
So we've got.
So I don't know
what
how
I
to-
gather from Warren, the public works crew would be willing to either help or do the installation.
Okay.
It's up to you guys what materials you want on that course. If you want the wood box with the turf on top to make that flat surface, include that in the proposal. If you're just thinking wood chips and kind of leveling out the ground a little bit, go with that instead. And, what was I thinking? Oh, the drawing that Steve, is that his name?
Yeah.
That Steve gave us, we would have to redesign that, because that is his intellectual property, and that would raise a whole bunch of legal flags if we just took his design and used it. So I just wanted to make sure that's there.
What if you pay him for it? Does that cover that?
Yes.
Yeah, that would cover that, yeah.
Okay.
So there is a drawing out there
I think so.
of the holes?
I think so. I think he sent it to me. Those are the ones that, because he came out a few times, and
So, Joe, do you
I'll send them out.
want all that? Meat and
Yep, I can put them all
All right.
type
Thank you both.
And then who do I send it
That
to?
helps.
Send it to you,
I'll
Lynn?
write down my email specifically so we can put the info on accident.
Your email, your email is on our, and
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I can give it again, then.
And Miranda, you're saying, it's from what you're hearing, your sense is that we should do 2.
Yeah,
One-
I'm not saying the 2 is required, I'm just saying the 2 different plans would give them a good range of what this could actually cost.
Well, I like your idea. The original idea was bare bones, get the scouts to put it in, and, you know, just pay for the minimum amount of gear to get this thing up and running. The second one's a little more in depth,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah, and I can't speak
Cost
to
of
it, but.
materials is gonna be the same
Yeah,
regardless.
and I cannot speak to it decision-wise, but I can say that if it is a very expensive project, that would be something that potentially, if you want the professionally designed course with the professional installation and stuff like that, it may be a smart idea to have them do that full proposal and then submit that for a next year plan.
yeah.
And that way it can be built into the budget if it gets approval. So,
Listen, there've been 40 years over there without a disc golf course, so there's just gonna be, excuse me?
It's another 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of things going on also. you know, we just put movie nights in there. I haven't told you about our Roll and Harmony Day yet, but, so, that was a nice discussion on disc golf. And Joe's gonna be the point man on that.
I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
Anyone else have anything to say? I'm sorry, Catherine, you wanted to speak, please. Please.
You brought up golf. I wanted to mention that my grass cutter is really upset. I get many, many golf balls in my yard. Also, I get a ton of softballs. And it's a problem. My grass cutter is like, they go fast. They really are annoyed by stopping and picking up softballs.
So someone's hitting golf balls at the park.
Softballs and golf
The
balls.
golf balls. We know there's softballs there because there's 3 baseball fields there and the girls play softball there. But someone's hitting golf balls?
Yeah.
And I think we should talk to, if you make a note, and we'll see if that's permitted. I thought there was a sign that says no hitting golf balls at the park.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't heard anything about that, but I absolutely can notify our public works director. And on our end, the most we can really do is if Don is going by and sees somebody, he can step in. My only other recommendation would be if people are hitting golf balls onto your yard and they won't stop, would to be to call the non-emergent line for state police.
I never see, I can't see
Okay.
there, so that's not gonna happen.
Okay, but
That's
I will
why
let
didn't want something.
I will let our public works director know, just so he can keep an eye out when they're in the park, especially because their hours in the park will be increasing as the weather gets warmer. So I'll tell him.
I just collect them and give them away, so
Right,
it keeps me exercising.
there you go. You turn it into a positive. I really like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we're going to the skate park,
So that is at the last page.
the skate park build out.
So the last page of the agenda is the skate park build-out schedule. We actually had a pre-bid meeting yesterday or Tuesday, can't remember off the top of my head. And everything seems to be on track for this, completely on track. We're just preparing for it to go out to bid. Once it goes out to bid, construction should start, where is this again? Oh my goodness. Hold on, I'm going to, thank you. Construction should start in May and it will finish by October. Good news is that some of the bidders that were there were relatively confident that they would not leave from May to October. So we might be on a faster track than that, but don't want to get our hopes up because this is government. So, but yes, if everything goes to plan, we'll go out at the end of this month and construction should start May.
Anyone have anything else on skate park?
I was gonna say, if anybody wants to see the site plan, I can throw that up there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, can I tilt that TV a little bit or no?
That would be good.
That one?
Yeah, you can.
No?
You can't handle how much.
No. Keep previously done. Can everyone still see it, right?
Yes, yeah,
Right?
I don't know anymore.
There you go, right there, Kevin. All right, so it is very neat because it's a site plan, there's all these fancy schematics and stuff like that, but just because until about 2 weeks ago, I also did not know specifically where the skate park was gonna go. They are gonna extend the parking lot a little bit, add some more spaces, and then the skate park will go right next to that.
So Miranda, that, I'm gonna say, like the far left corner, that white oblong, that's the sign for Umble Park.
Where?
yeah, right.
Down the bottom.
Right, okay.
Yes, yep.
Just so I can, like I have 100%. So then the additional parking is going in between the skate park and the parking lot?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Oh, so they're gonna be pulled in.
Like that
Yeah.
gray, that darker gray?
Yes, that
area.
darker gray is the new parking section.
Okay.
So it's what, seven spots, looks like 8 spots.
What's that, right?
see 6 normal spots and 2 handicap perhaps? Based, oh, that's mine. Yep, I see a little handicap in there, so.
That's a good idea. There's a couple handicap spots we were talking about, so people who want to use the trail. Right?
Can't get off the trail.
Get stuck in the mud.
Get stuck in the mud.
We could at least have a nice little wooden.
Joe's gate.
Wooden boardwalk or something would be good.
What fix it, Joe?
I just had a grandmother friend post a picture, she took her grandson to a skate park, and he's like 5, but he's on this scooter type thing, just loving life all through it. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Pollinator Garden. At the last minute, Summer has a lot of responsibility on her farm right now. They're really busy. She would love to have been here. And her message was that she'll be here, she has a lot of good ideas for the Pollinator Garden that she can't wait to share with us next month. As far as the information kiosk, could you put that back up there again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, that map,
Oh, this map, yeah, kind of.
the one you had here. So, I've been talking to Cody Short for Troop 9 in Honeybrook, the map of the skate park. I just wanted to show everybody where it was going to go. I wish I was taller. Right?
What do you need?
Okay.
Oh, it is working, okay. Can you direct me kind of, my mouse
She's
is
got
on.
the mouse going, can you direct her where?
Yeah.
Just point in the general area.
Up in the corner, a little higher to the right now. See that circle?
Circle.
Yeah.
Right
Right
here.
in the parking lot.
Oh,
We're
no,
at,
you're right there.
right here, okay.
Yeah. So that's presently a handicap sign, right? Handicap parking only, can go past there.
Well, it just said pickleball parking.
That's
You
definitely
would
around
think
the
that
way.
because I know, show you the picture I took today of everyone breaking the law. But, Cody Short with Troop 9, Boy Scouts, there's a young man who is working on this Eagle
Project.
project, and I really felt bad that I was stonewalling him with the disc golf, the lack of traction with the disc golf. They were going to help us with that. So I thought about an information kiosk, and do you have some examples of
I have the example you sent me.
something like that? Maybe we could display a layout of the park. Maybe we could. What I was thinking is put movie night on there,
Yes,
or
different events
some
and stuff.
events, yes, or something. And he's going to come in May and give us the future Eagle Scout. The teenager's going to come and give us a presentation, next month. And they're really excited. I think this is more. What do you think? This is more of an Eagle project
This is a
than.
little bit more than.
Yeah, and they have to go through the whole process of their own fundraising and managing, you know.
That's what he was saying. And he's actually going to design this. He's going to be working with geometry and angles and for the roof pitch. And so it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on it. And I thought about that area next to the,
I think that's a good spot for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cody had a great idea. He said, take the handicap only sign and put it on an arm, on a swing arm out across the thing so no one could get by and attach it to the information kiosk. He seems to be a good sport. So yeah, we're gonna know more about that next month. Movie nights, this is a big one, you guys. Everyone's on board with movie nights. 26th and 30th. I think we have to figure out
What activities?
what activities we're gonna do.
And there was just one small legal standpoint
We
that
thought.
Lauren wanted me to cover. And it's just that if any fundraising is done, because we are the township, we can be in affiliation with the church, but if any fundraising is done, it can't be done jointly.
So it's gotta be our fundraising.
It has to be
or
your
their
fundraising or their fundraising, yes.
Okay.
Or you guys can run two separate fundraisers at the
Yes,
same time.
exactly, but
It just
funds
can't be
can't
a joint
intermingle.
fundraiser.
So that's the legal part, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I think the church said they did not fundraise for it.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not gonna fundraise. And I don't know at this
I
point
don't think we are.
whether we are. It would be nice just to hold it off. And if people came and we didn't raise any money, that'd be fine. You know, we didn't have a fundraising issue, that'd be fine. What do you guys think?
I love to hear with some ideas when I got home and didn't keep up with
I think that's
it.
great.
We talked about kids' days and all this kind of stuff. Instead of just doing the last Friday, why don't we try to do every Friday in the park from 6 to 8? Whether it's a kickball tournament, whether one of our guests who wanted to do a bee presentation. So from 6 to 8 every Friday night, something's going on in the park. I know I could get Lee to commit to at least one of those Friday nights to do tennis lessons, those kind of things. It gets people used to going to the park on Fridays, and then maybe on that last Friday,
Oh, and when would you think about starting it?
6 to 8, July,
Yeah.
August.
2 months,
Mhm.
eight Fridays. That's not a bad idea. What do you guys think?
Okay, so for that, I know, I'm cutting with all these downers right now.
No, that's good.
I would do just a small, basic proposal for that, just because if you guys are gonna be using funds and stuff like that, they wanna know, especially if you guys, concessions, I don't know if you're going to be, and if you're not, awesome, that makes it a lot easier.
No, I don't.
Okay, cool.
There might be very little that we want any
Cool,
funds
okay.
for.
Yeah.
I'd like to, the Fridays of the movies, and we're doing 6 to 8, but Walt even said that prime movie time is 9. So from 8 to 9, I thought, well, we can have a pickleball tournament. I was like, you know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a disc golf tournament, maybe we can do that next year.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But that could be the fun times on Friday nights between the two, but.
Yeah,
Friday night at the park.
yeah, it's, what's a kickball?
Mhm.
You probably get 10 kickballs for $10, right? Like some, like,
That is,
But
that's
then
awesome.
you maybe bring your own kickball.
Yeah.
Bring your own ball.
Awesome.
BYOB.
yeah,
Even we could do playground games at some point once the basketball courts are up. We could do four squares and just try to get people in the park.
Sure. Would you like to come up with an outline? Or do you have one already? Or would you like to come up with an outline and share with all of us? And,
We have to think
Well, I
about
think
the
everybody
activities.
needs to come up with activities. It's got to be, children have to be accompanied by an adult. Because-
no drop-offs.
Right, none of us, no, we can't put ourselves in that
Nope,
position. So,
Okay, nope, that is perfect.
do we have to, so in our proposal to the board,
I would have the dates, what you propose on the date.
Yeah.
yeah, because we want you guys to help with advertising and getting it out there.
And have the Rita's truck come every Friday night, or Mr.
And
Salk.
they give us a little bit
Well,
of
there you
money.
go. You don't have to tell them the activities, tell them Rita's gonna be there, and then by the way, they're working on something else.
Have Rita's go.
I'll check with the Outlook team too. They, I think it's next month, they have a bike rodeo plan for the church across from Walmart. Something like that.
That would be a cool Friday night to come out and see the bike
Just set
rodeo.
up different, obstacles.
So one night could be a bike rodeo?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one night should be a kickball tournament.
Well, and you can always have other things going on
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I saw somewhere, I think it was you, someone was talking about those rockets.
Yeah.
Is that something that could happen in our, not necessarily on a Friday night with kids, but is that something that our park would be big enough for?
I mean,
Little
that's,
ones,
yeah,
yeah.
it was plenty, big enough for more
That
than,
gives you maybe like an annual type thing, because I saw them asking for a place to go, kind of like, tell my Jesse's turkey trot type of things.
yeah, rocket tournaments at the park,
We were talking about 5K. Oh, that's turkey trot.
Yeah.
right?
I think you said what, from the park up here and back, so.
I think that's, really.
Shut down probably that stop sign to that stop sign,
Yeah.
one way.
Have the fire department's fire police to help us.
don't know what term to do it.
No, I get, my thoughts is to have the bathroom open at that time, so that should be in the proposal we need to.
Yep, yes, absolutely,
Open and
yes.
close.
Yes, that is always our biggest issue, actually, is people not telling us they need a bathroom.
So that's something that you guys would have to deal with.
It's not the biggest issue, because Warren clearly volunteered anything he could do to help us with his facilities.
How disruptive do we think the skate park disruption is
Construction.
gonna be?
Well, Warren had said the same thing.
Ah,
He had cautioned, rightfully so, that, we're not quite sure what the scope of disruption is going to be.
How much of the parking lot are they gonna take up?
Yeah, we're not sure.
well, Walt did say that they could park there.
We would have the capacity.
Under that circumstance, if we, and we might want to focus in on the kickballs, the ball fields,
So I think it'd be great to,
basketballs.
for all of these Friday night park, would be that talk from church, see if any of their people want to come to the Friday night park too.
Mhm.
And then if they're involved, maybe we can put them in the Lotus Park there.
Or you just say, hey, these are our Fridays,
And then you'll advertise for it.
can we use your, because of the park construction, or just overflow parking in general, I mean, who knows how big that's gonna get,
Right.
in Friday, so.
If I may, I think we need to take this from we need to get some things nailed down as far as schedules, Fridays, schedules for advertisement.
I'll get something together and get it to you. I'll send it out to everybody.
Yes.
I'm not gonna break down activities.
Yeah.
But we'll know fun in the park on Friday, 6 to 8.
Do you want to start the 12th? Because July 5th is the first Friday in July. So it's the day after 4th of July. I don't know if people will be away for a weekend or something. Because a lot of people have Friday off, our first day off, they take Friday off, it's a 4-day weekend.
It might, yeah, I mean, it might not be a bad,
So I would just start the 12th, honestly.
I'm thinking, I mean, for people who stay home, it's a fun thing to do, the Friday.
Worst case, no one shows up. We didn't spend any money.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just every Friday, July and August.
yeah, no, I
Yeah, and just
Gotta
get
start
the dates to us
somewhere.
as soon as possible, because people are allowed to reserve sections of park. So the sooner you get us to reserve them, the better we block them off, and make sure there's no other group
Yeah.
on a ball field or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Well, the good thing about July and August, again, is that baseball's done.
Yeah,
And the
people
park
can
goes-
still privately reserve sections of the park.
No, I mean, the park goes back to the people that, it's just not
Yeah,
baseball
Yes.
centric like it is right now. Catherine?
I'm sorry, I do have a couple more
Go ahead,
questions.
apologize.
What's the situation on lights?
Yeah.
It hasn't been in our discussions.
We were hoping you could provide some from your property, maybe shoot them down over to Umble Park. We're not asking for much, are we? We're walking through your property, now you're gonna light up the park for sure.
Well, I want to mention something, and I don't know if it's important, or it may be totally unimportant. That park went in after all the houses were built, and that township promised there would never be lights if that park was allowed, because they asked everybody for permission to put that park in. And everybody said, sure, okay, no lights, and they promised no lights.
I would think about that if there was ever a safety factor, or someone thought maybe there should be a little bit more lighting there for safety, I think that would not be a
I
bad
know,
thing.
there's no safety problem. Remember that guy said that's the parents' problem?
We're not gonna do this, Catherine.
I'm just remembering what was said to me, like, yeah.
I know that Little League has mentioned wanting lights, but there's been
Oh, no, there was a big fight.
there's
We were
been
here
no
20
action
years ago.
items on us or even suggestions
You know what
from
was said?
us.
Let me tell you what was said. Wait till all the old people die and then we'll get our lights. That was several years ago. That was after the park went in, yeah.
Can't speak for that, Catherine. I cannot
Okay.
speak for that.
The other thing, what about the flooding? Has anybody ever walked down there? I mean, you can't, you need boots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We know.
And you're working on that, I hope?
it's It's in the process of
We were going to
thoughts.
route the water over towards your property a little bit.
No, it's coming from my property. I have 2 bricks.
I'm just-
I mean, they-
I'm just
You
trying
have
to
a
get,
you have a good sense of humor, I know.
I'm trying to get through it. I really am. I'm sure.
People will come to the yard if there's a lake there.
Give those-
I have a pond.
You're a good
That's why
sport.
I'm getting on the water.
You're a good sport.
But the
We
flooding,
know it's muddy, and I know of no plan for light, for
there's this much
for serious
water.
lighting.
You can't walk in it.
We're just gonna try to work through it.
It's only really bad during the spring and fall, when it's really during the summer, it dries up pretty well.
Oh, listen, I walk down there, I know. I know all the problems, I know all the benefits. And another thing is, why are you putting golf in? We have a golf course.
Catherine, it's
It's
just,
frisbee,
disc golf.
frisbee golf.
Oh, okay, sorry. I haven't been up to date on
it's
anything.
okay.
No, it's okay.
It's all new to me, and I apologize for being such an addict.
Okay, so we're gonna go to movie nights, because we got a lot to cover on the movie nights.
Yeah, we
No, we're not. We just talked about Friday night, so we need to drill down on this movie night thing.
What do we do with it?
So it's gonna be a little different than the regular Friday nights, right? Regular Friday nights are gonna be a little more simpler, and movie nights, we're gonna be expecting a larger crowd. I believe we're gonna have, we've talked about food trucks. We talked about opportunity to eat. And this might be where it comes into some costs. We talked about,
Well, so the problem you're gonna have is, where's the skate park gonna be in July 26th? If there's a giant, backhoe packed in the middle of the parking lot, you're not gonna get many food trucks in there.
so
True, very true.
So, we've already discussed the alternative parking plan, at least for the movie nights, and we thought that we will reach out to Walt, and ask them about the other Friday nights for parking as a backup plan for the disruption, the
I'll
construction
make a
disruption.
point, I want to talk to them too, I don't know if they have, I know their rain date is on Saturday. But I don't know if they have like auditorium space, that maybe on a rain date, we could do board games in their church, something like that, to where that Friday isn't gone, you know what I mean? So I'll be more than happy to talk with them.
Are you guys,
Who's those
the
guys?
Friday nights, the movie
Everybody
nights?
is.
Well, I mean,
Does
I was going and looking at renting the equipment for Friday nights, but then we kind of went into the direction of
Right.
just
That we're
giving
not
back to the program.
dealing with any of the
Um,
schematics of the movies.
Right.
But I think at this point, we're just looking at what activities do we want to do Friday nights? And I think we were really going, I hope we talked about food trucks and talking about partners and stuff like that, or the two nights of movies.
Last Fridays.
Yeah, well, I already have one food truck lined up, but, it's being canceled. And, it's Buddy's Burgers, and excellent. I was going to Suburban. Buddy's Burgers says he can handle 300 people. These guys they are not nonprofit, so they don't want to come here and not make any money. And so I guess we should just, I also was going to ask September Farm for, hopefully he has ice cream in that thing at nighttime, right?
I know they do donuts.
The one
In the morning they do donuts and coffee.
What was the movie night we went to had cold lawn, and they had like probably looked like an 8-foot by 4-foot trailer with ice cream in it, so it was a very small footprint, and they had cold, K-O-L-E, dairy.
Yeah, I know where they're out there.
Hobbs?
They're in,
Hobbs is based
they're
out
out
of
there.
East Vincent.
It's like right
I
past,
live in East Vincent, that's why I'm.
the school, right? Or,
all the way to,
on 23.
Limerick.
Yeah,
OJ.
if you're heading down 23, turn off.
all the way to Limerick.
Yep.
From 23,
That's fine.
I can't remember the road name.
So that's the,
Yeah, Cobb's Dairy, yeah, okay.
so I thought that the 2 nights that we would have to have family, children's entertainment, and I know we talked about these little air-filled things for the kids. Stephen had mentioned face painting and, balloon guy or,
We talk people into bringing their own teachers, all that stuff.
That's cool. Zoning and regs. I envision this is our first year of doing it, and this is something we grow with. I love the idea maybe on movie nights to have at least ice cream there in each room. That would be, and we grow from there. The parking does have its concerns of having a food truck festival. Unless we did that in the fall when we opened the skate park.
Well, if
We get
we could somehow open
yeah,
up,
do a really big fall.
if you could open up that road, and be able to park along the front of it with the food trucks, people could walk across in front of the food trucks that are parked somewhere in the grass on the walkway.
Right.
So it would open up all the parking for regular cars.
yeah.
But it would have to, 1, be dry, and 2, open up. And so I don't think that's something we're gonna see this year.
But I like sure that, grow with it.
Yeah.
Like, let's not
Start
go
small and
yeah, let's not
see how
go
it goes.
way
Yeah,
out.
we keep adding to
Yeah.
it. We ask the people what they want. I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
Yeah,
and they might want a Friday night festival with bounce houses and all that.
yeah,
And that would be
something we can do.
So I think like the 26th and the 30th are, with the movie nights, it's kind of a low risk, because worst case scenario, at least the people from the church are showing up. So we're not gonna end up with nobody.
Yeah, I think we stick,
So
maybe stick small.
So for the other nights, I think we go small, 2-hour thing. For those nights, if we wanna do food trucks and stuff,
We
that,
need something in between the
Yeah.
6 to 8, and we don't want people to leave after.
and that's kind of what I was thinking, that
Yeah.
you'll keep them there. But
Yeah.
if you guys are, aren't ready to do food trucks this year, I'm cool with it.
I think we can do a couple, but I think we have to see what it looks like.
We don't want to bring those burgers out, and if they don't get any.
Then they'll
business,
never
then
come
they'll
back.
back.
No, he won't
So
mind.
We want to have a crowd first, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we shoot for the August one
For Buddy's Burgers.
for Buddy's Burgers? We can
That
kind
is
of
our
add,
last
yeah, it's
one.
our last one, we can kind of advertise, say, hey, the last one, we're gonna have Buddy's Burgers, like, so that
And some
people
extra
are,
things, and,
yeah.
So what would the July movie night,
well, we'd still be doing the fun in the park from 6 to 8.
And we can see if we can get the dairy to come in, because, I mean,
What
I
time
see
we
it.
are, probably,
Between 8 and 9.
Yeah.
and it was only, $3 ice cream. It wasn't like, I mean, sometimes food truck food can be $7, $8, $9, $10
For
for
a
a
family of 4 there, and
But-
money, but I think
Like 2 scoops of ice cream for $3 is fine.
I know everybody talks about cert safe and stuff, and that's us preparing our food and selling it. If Papa Mark's delivered pizza, couldn't we sell it by the slice?
That would be a question for Beth. I have no idea.
My brain goes places that
I
maybe it shouldn't. We're
No,
not
I'm
preparing
hesitant
the
to say
food.
anything, I have honestly no clue.
I have another one.
Okay.
Is all this cost effective? And has anybody delved into, is this stuff gonna cost you money, or
so
are you
for
gonna
the,
make money? And has anybody thought about, or working on getting donations for a lot of this stuff and putting their name on a bench or a sign or whatever?
so for the movie night, the church has the screen, the projector.
I'm talking about everything.
We have discussed, like even for the disc golf course, we
Fundraising.
discussed fundraising and stuff, but we're waiting for Honeybrook Township to have a fundraising policy. So we're waiting on the township to figure out what they want to do with fundraising and how they want to do fundraising before we can actually go out and ask for money. But yeah, we have
I
thought
mean,
about it.
nobody's asking me for any money, I'm getting ready to donate to Westchester ball field. And I'm not donating to my own ball field, so something's not getting through to everybody, meaning me.
So, is it necessary to nail down some itinerary for these movie nights, or are we just gonna push that off the next month? What do you guys think?
I mean, we can, for the movie nights, I think, you know, I would talk to somebody for the July 26th. We could talk to like a dairy, like if you wanted to see if Kiosk could do it, or even if some of the farms can do it. Like I think ice cream is something easy, small.
And we're talking between 8 and 9, that's, dinner should have been before they came to play at kickball.
Yeah, they're getting there at 6 o'clock.
Alright,
So, I mean, it is going to start getting a little bit darker, right?
who's gonna take care of that? Who's gonna take care of setting things up for the movie nights? I mean, with the movies already gonna be taken care of. So, from 9 o'clock on, it's taken care of. I think we're responsible from 6 to 9, or 6 to 8:30.
So this is
I'll
a
fill
church,
in that time.
is a church picking? the movie?
Yes, they
Yeah.
pick the movie, they
Yeah.
advertise the movie, it's their movie.
So we're not gonna do any advertising for it.
Not
Other than joint, you know, we can certainly last Fridays, Friday in the Park, movie to follow at the church. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I mean, we just need to come up with a theme that seems as good as any. I know Warren Walt liked movies at the Brook. You got Friday Night at the Park. I kind of like, yeah.
Is April? I think if everyone starts coming up with ideas for Fridays, and I will commit to at least 6 of those Fridays that I will be at that park. If others would commit to 1 or 2 others, or, you know, it could certainly be helpful for more, that way we can at least have the kickballs there. Like I said, we don't have to do that today.
That's,
Yeah, well, there is no weeks I can do. I can do every Friday, but I refuse to do every
oh,
Friday.
yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, I
It's
will
not-
commit to be there at least 6 of those
Yeah,
Fridays.
yeah,
We just won't be in the state.
Yeah, well, that'd be pretty hard for you to show up.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, we can,
Yeah, but.
And any ideas for games or, you
yeah,
know.
sure, if you kind of lead that, we can get it done. I'd say, Karen, to answer your question, we will get this ball rolling tomorrow, so to speak.
Well, I'll get the email off to Miranda, we want the bathrooms, we want 6 to 9 every, or do we want?
What
afternoon
time's
meeting?
the,
On the last Fridays, it'd be 6 to 8 every Friday except last Friday. We could still do
sorry?
6 to 8 because the church said we could use their restrooms.
Dusk.
So we'll do 6 to 8 every Friday in July and August.
Family night
Is
at
that
the park.
enough for you, Miranda, or do I
Start
start?
on as well.
fifth?
Fifth.
So, family night at the park? Is that what you said? Miranda, family night at the park?
Jump into fun on Fridays?
Family night at the park, I think, is a really, it tells people what it is.
Yes.
When it is, and it tells them it's for families, and I think that's the biggest thing.
And we're not gonna have food, but we're gonna have ice cream every Friday night.
Well, we don't have to
No, no.
advertise that though.
Every Friday?
No? I have it every night myself.
I think it's a big ask to do every Friday.
Well, I just don't, I don't want to bring people, I don't want to bring like an ice cream thing in and then like nobody shows up and they're like, yeah, why are we here? And they don't come into any of them. I think we try to, at least for this year, make sure that we have something for July 26th and April, and August 30th, like make those.
Like movie nights.
But no food trucks at all in any of these events.
I mean, maybe if The 26th works out really well. We can ask people while we're there, like, would you guys want Duke here next time?
But
And they
no,
say, yeah, sure.
but no food, you guys are saying no food trucks this year.
Maybe for the 30th.
Not for
You can't do that
the
like that.
Friday
You have
night.
to, you have to let them know now. You can't let them know like a month ahead of time, they're already booked, so. I mean, I'm 100% okay with no food trucks, this year, if that's what the group, thinks.
I think from a money perspective, the no food truck this year is probably a really smart idea. Build that, I don't know a better word for it, build that fan base, build that following, and then next year you'll know that people are going to show up.
And they're looking
And
forward
that
to
you're gonna
Friday
make
nights.
back that $200 deposit you're putting down on the food truck, and you don't have to worry about that being pulled straight out of pocket.
Or if we're not getting people to show up.
Yes, yep,
Maybe we could use food trucks to try and attract
yes,
people. and
very
then, you
true,
know, down
very
the line,
true.
Yeah, if we
advertise it.
find out that, hey, it's too early, we didn't even eat. Like, we'll come for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday night, family night is what?
Are you good with that, Miranda, or do I still need to send you?
If you could just send me an email anyway, just so I had it
Bingo.
on official terms.
I think this is so exciting. I wish I had gotten here sooner, that was months ago. It's great.
Any update on the walking trail? For the Storybook?
You got books.
We have some pictures. This is what the walking trail, Storybook Trail in Oxford. That's what it looks like in the beginning from the bottom.
So they're all completely, like, movable.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if
yeah, they're mobile.
Here's a,
They're staked to the ground.
Oh,
You
they
see, they have bent rebar holding to it for those
okay.
legs. And that's about the author, that's a little bio on the author, and that's the first page of the storybook. The parents just walk along the trail, okay, right, and read the story, the kids read the story, they have a little fun.
What does our trail now have, little activities on the signs?
Yes,
Yeah, that are,
They're faded, hard to read.
yeah,
these are, like, the stuff that's on the trail is faded and,
a bit dated.
yeah.
We just say the nice fresh coat of paint.
Oh, yeah, there's like,
Okay.
there's the hopscotch and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the United Way, it was the United Way project. So, we're going to go to that one more scene that shows those,
oh, this one?
yeah. So, just an idea.
I think it's a great idea, and especially put it up in that back section of the park where you kind of make that left instead of going back across the bridge, where you go all the way around
So like from the back side of the baseball court, or the,
baseball fields, all the way
yes,
around.
thank you.
Yeah.
Or you could start it at the beginning and finish it somewhere around where the
That's,
handicap sign is.
These are all homemade too.
okay.
Just wanted to, you guys, get down around Oxford, check them out. But I think I actually have a picture. Brandon, we can send these out to everybody on the board, right? Because you can blow them up and see actually how they're made. I took pictures of the back side of these to see how they're assembled.
Yeah, if you send it to me, I can fire off an email with all the pictures of them.
Should not something like that be a good Eagle Scout project at some
It'd
point?
be a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And they had another kid come along too.
Because that's not that hard to do.
They have 3 kids actually in the bike line for Eagle, so.
Part of the Eagle Scout project is managing, like, people, so they should have the rest of the troop helping them out. So that's fairly inexpensive. Now, where do you get the storybook boards? Like,
Books?
The book, the board.
The illustrated part.
That's just one version of them right there. And she was thinking about splitting them
My,
and
Yeah.
putting
No,
2.
but I bet,
my thought, Joe, I think it's just like, I think it's almost unbinding the book. And that far right picture is this page.
that doesn't look like there's a folder.
No, what they do is, the reason why she gave us 3 books is because some pages you're gonna roll, the back sides of one page you're gonna roll and say use, you know what I mean? Like, there's the
These books
first
that
page.
can be used for this?
Are we allowed to copy them?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna give all the information.
Yeah.
Publish this.
I mean, I'll check with them.
Yeah, because we would need,
She's a
let's
Pennsylvania.
say, written permission.
Yeah.
to publish that.
I'll ask Jennifer from the Huntington Township Library, who, you know, should have the answers here, see what they would do.
Yeah,
That's why she gave it
okay.
to me. I didn't quite understand it, but
So how do you keep them from getting thrown in?
I think it has, if
I
I'm
probably got some, oh,
yeah, they're sealed up pretty good. And I noticed, see that, there's a little water damage in that one. I just noticed, but it was still legible. And I looked at it pretty closely. There was a little bit of leakage, but they were homemade. And it's just one person's idea. And I think we should find out about what books we can use for this. All right? And the reason why she picked those is that person, Jennifer from the library, likes the author, and she's a local, she's a Pennsylvania author, so that meant something to Jennifer. Right? All right, Walking Trail Storybook. Last thing's Harmony Day.
what you got?
I hope it is, I know.
It's going to be.
I know I can think of it.
Harmony Day, so we are going to have a roll. Umble Park is going to have a little more roll. Last year they had a pickleball tournament, and that was the big thing there at the park. We're talking about maybe putting together something a little bit more this year, maybe taking a more active role in Harmony Day. What do you guys think?
What is on
21st of September. I think.
I was gonna say it's 2 months.
Is that Saturday?
So they're doing the pickleball tournament again, you're talking about doing stuff in the park or having
Yeah.
a presence
In the afternoon.
downtown?
In the afternoon. We're talking about, they're gonna do things downtown till around, their festivities are over at 2, and then we would do something at Umble Park, in the later hours of the day.
Okay.
He like almost the same thing as the Friday night at the park. You can have games for kids. You can have, if you wanted to do bounce house type thing, set that stuff up. You can have pickleball tournament.
Warren, Walt was talking about, he knew some bluegrass bands that, he may be able to, get on the schedule for that day. And he was going to, Walt from the church. And he was going to reach out to some bluegrass bands and see if, and he also wanted to be a part of Harmony Day in this area. Yeah, as far as,
When's the skate park supposed to be done?
Anywhere, let's say November.
no. They have to put October in there
Yeah.
because they have to put a date layout.
September,
I'm pretty sure that thing's not gonna take 4 months.
So weather's good, they'll knock it out.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool if you know.
Can you
ribbon
make
cutting thing
it
at
happen
Harmony Day.
September
That
Sure.
would be
21st?
really cool.
Catherine's taking on the water park, so we can just.
That would be cool though, I would think.
Yeah, like a ribbon cutting for the
Because
skate
we
park.
talked about like a grand opening type of thing,
Correct.
but if it's Harmony Day, it would
Could
be
be-
super
Even
duper.
if it's done like 2 weeks before, you could just.
Wait till it's.
No, I think that should be a part of our Harmony Day celebration.
That might be a good day.
That would be,
That,
Yes.
that could be, especially if you have bands there.
Yes.
Is there power for bands? Because you're gonna need speakers and all that kind of
there
stuff.
must have been some kind of power enough to.
You
Do
can
the
run
movies.
boards from bathroom building. I can't think of words right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, the
Like
like
that.
snack area, but like that's a long extension cord.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need multiple,
We're
you're probably gonna need a 20 amp circuit if you're running one extension cord.
Yeah.
Walt's a musician. And,
Yeah.
He's pretty hip on this, so, I just wanted to run it by you guys and see what you guys thought about us taking a larger role in Harmony Day. You guys know what Harmony Day is, right? So it's a partnership between the borough and the township, and hence more harmonious relationship, right?
That's not what started it.
Excuse me?
I don't know if you care or not, but that's not what started it. The mayor of the borough started Harmony Day along with, what's his name, Ed, the animal doctor, what's his name?
Frankel.
And half a dozen others, and I was one of the others. And Harmony Day started because somebody burned a cross in a black person's front yard. And people aren't aware of that.
They are.
Um,
No, they are. I think everyone in this, most people.
Well, I mean, it's a great thing. They did a fabulous job. Frankel was, right on with everything. He was kind of his way. But I don't see people remembering why it started. And it certainly has changed over the years dramatically. And I guess it's not important, but,
It's kind of, that's sort of historical in a sense, that maybe you could talk to some people on the planning committee that do that. They might want to, how did Harmony Day get started type thing.
So, are we in agreement that we would like to
Shoot for Harmony Day, big
Like-
celebration, ribbon cutting.
take a recommendation to the board about us having a role in, a larger role in Harmony Day this year?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's gonna come down to money when it comes to the board. They don't, it's all,
Well, I mean, I think they'd like to know that.
yeah, we
that-
do that, that day too.
The board comes to our meetings.
Yeah.
And actually, that being the last item on the agenda, official item, I would say, I would definitely start really thinking about what you guys really want to do next year and start figuring out the cost of those things. Official budget talks start in September. Budget is proposed in October and finalized by the end of October, early November. So
Can you
just.
get those dates back for us?
Yeah, so budget talks start in September, and then by the end of October, early November, the budget is set for the following year. So just definitely start figuring out what you guys want to do, so you can truly present that to the board, just so next year we don't have to run into as many of these issues with the funding and stuff like that.
When will we know about the grant? Is that May?
In the fall,
All for those sports.
Not until fall,
if not in the fall.
for the resurfacing.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone out in the field have anything to say? Yes, sir.
A couple things. I'd like to thank you. I love the energy. I love what you guys are talking about. I love what you're thinking and planning and everything about it. I also understand volunteerism and what you guys are talking about. Some of them tasks are no small tasks. So I just ask you, please don't overextend yourselves so you get frustrated, upset, or kind of fall back and we don't get anything done. So I would rather see a couple good things done, a couple things done really good, rather than spread yourselves trying to do way too much, because you guys got a lot of good things you're talking about. I just hate to get people overworked and then you're upset, and then you start getting upset with each other who's volunteered more time, who didn't put any time in, et cetera, and then you start fighting, and then before you know it, all the work that you put in and planning starts to. So please, just kind of keep that in mind. I know, everything sounds great, what you want to do for the community, but you also got to take care of yourselves while you're doing it, and just tread
Well,
lightly.
I would envision, like, if our Fridays grew over the years, that we would possibly hire a parks person that handle Friday nights in the park.
And you
But like I
never
said,
know,
right
you-
now, like,
the
kickball is
progression
done.
of it and things, great things can happen. It's just, when you're getting started like that, just like you guys are talking about, I mean, I've been there with volunteerism for one, and then two, you're making the commitments to the food trucks, and then they show up, and you got 10 people, now you're sweating, the guy's there, he's upset because he, again, there's a lot of frustration there, there's a lot of stuff that, why am I doing this? And then, like I said, then the finger point starts between you.
Right.
I was there for 3 days, you're only there for a day, you said you're gonna help. So I'm just asking you, please, I love what you're doing, but just make sure that you take the time with it and don't overextend yourself.
That's a good point. I will say this, though, and that's a good point, thank you. You guys got a couple more minutes, you can say, good job. I know that on the website, they were asking for, Christie was asking for, wanted to get the summer camp for children started again, that they had before the pandemic.
Just gonna cut in there
I
really
just
quick.
want to finish. And in mine, and Ruth and I actually thought about a short version of the summer camp, but we're gonna wait a little bit. She's retiring, she has her credentials as a school teacher, and I have no more. I feel like the Friday night, funny how it just showed up, is kind of like a little different version of a summer camp. You know, it's more incremental, it's only on Friday night, it's only gonna be a couple hours. And I think that it'll be a good replacement for the summer camps that, you know, we're not going to be able to have this year. Go ahead, Miranda.
Perfect. I think we're proposing it for this year, and I was just about to tell you,
That's why I asked you to let me,
it is a very hefty task.
that's why I asked you to let me finish.
Okay, perfect. Then, yeah, I was just gonna say, it's a very,
Yeah, I
very
appreciate
hefty
it.
task.
And so I just wanted to kind of bounce that off the cell.
No, I think that's, and the little Friday things, I think are, because they're not all day functions going on,
Yeah.
and a lot of time that you gotta put, especially if you got younger kids, and it's, there's a lot of built-in frustration that as you get going, you just, and then it just makes you not want to do it. And I just think you guys got so much going on and such a positiveness that I just hate to lose that over getting too frustrated too quick, so please take on as much as you can. I mean, I love it.
No, I appreciate
I
it.
just don't want to see anybody getting, get burned out or frustrated.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks.
I would just like to add to that. You're doing so much, and it's all wonderful. But I have to say that right now, so many people just appreciate that circle to walk on. That's enough for them. They love it.
Well, if it was complete, you could not have to go around that sign. Great.
Me and Sal are going to look at that gate. Sal, you're going to come with me, and we're going to look at that gate. All right, Debbie?
I wanted to say, I was sitting here tonight and I'm impressed with all your enthusiasm and everything and what has been done in the past, because you were on the board in the past, sir.
All right.
And I know myself, my expectation gets high when I do something and volunteer and everything. So my expectation gets high, and I think everybody else is going to do what I think, what my percentage is. And that doesn't always work that way. So I know what Sal's saying, and I know what you probably think the same thing. It doesn't always work that way. And then the frustration really should be directed to me myself, because I expect everybody else to help. But I think I'm helping. So I agree with what Sal's saying. I don't want to see anybody get burned out, because everything you're saying and doing is awesome. I back you 100%. I think what you're doing is great. And I am impressed with it. Huh?
Keep asking for volunteers.
I think you
Just
said
don't ask me how we're at, but.
yeah, but you do. You keep asking for them, but man, what these guys are doing is terrific. And you know what? Your hearts are in the right place. You care, and your hearts are in the right place, and that means everything.
Yeah, I
So
tried to get
kudos to you guys.
I tried to get Kevin to get back on this board.
I think I actually just helped you. While you guys were chatting.
You got a ton of volunteers for them?
I went on the West Brandywine website, and they have a whole listing of all of their executed trail easement agreements, including the Sunoco one. I went on the Sunoco one, and the guy who executed it is the director of land and right of way. I probably the guy you need to speak to.
Okay.
So it's right there on the website.
Thanks.
Beverly says email. Beverly says.
Save you guys a couple hours.
Thank you.
Still volunteering, okay. I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Third.
It's my favorite pizza.
All in favor?
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Oh, so you know what I say? I love to say, like, I second, or all in favor.
Say
That every-
just waiting for.
I'm not that concerned with
I think we'll be fine.
it.